Welcome to UCAN2. I'm Dave Stradell, Program Coordinator for Entrepreneurship at Muskegon Community College. UCAN2 is a program and a philosophy that encourages people in all areas of interest and of all ages to consider entrepreneurship as either their next step in their career or as a career path. We will be meeting with business owners and community leaders who will talk about issues that are important to starting and running a successful business. Today we're going to meet with Jill Batka, owner of Dynamic Conveyor. She'll talk about taking over a family business.
Hey, good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Jill. Good to see you.
Welcome. Welcome to Dynamic Conveyor.
Thank you very much. This is a wonderful looking place. How old is it?
Thank you. Oh, we've been here about 15 years.
About 15 years? Cool. Can we get a quick tour?
Of course. Let's do it.
Excellent.
All right.
Let's go. Hi Jill, tell us about Dynacon. What does it do and how long has it been in existence?
Well, Dynamic Conveyor has been in existence since 1991, and what we do is we make conveyor systems. Now, conveyors are kind of like vehicles in that there's lots of different modes of transportation, from cars to motorcycles, and so conveyors are kind of the same thing. Conveyors are used to move product primarily, okay. Whether it's in the grocery store or it is at the airport, your luggage, that type of thing, or in our situation it's for industry, for moving parts and product.
Oh, okay. How did Dynamic Conveyor get started?
Well, my father was an injection molder, and he had a need to get his plastic parts out from under his injection molding machines, and being a very inventive man, he came up with the modular Dynacon conveyor concept.
A true entrepreneur finding solutions to problems.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yes, he is.
Excellent. What makes Dynamic Conveyor special?
Well, it's our products. It's our Dynacon modular conveyor system, which is very unique. It's made of plastic injection molded parts that are about 18 inches long. Okay. Kind of like a Lego system. Oh. I'm sure you know Lego toys that most of us have played with at one point.
Yes,
in our
I
lives.
have.
So it's a lot like that. So very, very unique. And we don't have any direct competitors out there that do what we do.
Excellent. Who are customers of Dynamic Conveyor?
Well, anybody who's moving lightweight parts or product. Okay. And like I mentioned, my father was an injection molder, so a lot of times the parts or products are injection molded or plastic. Okay. And if you think about all the different plastic pieces that we have in our life on a daily basis, from automotive parts to medical devices to even building parts, are conveyed on our conveyors.
Can we see some more?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. Thanks for the tour, Jill. Now tell us about how long you've been with the company and what positions have you held?
Well, I've been with the company since the mid-90s, and prior to that I worked at Pliant Plastics, the injection molding company that my father had founded in the 1960s. I was the administrative manager, and my two sisters wanted to get involved in the business here at Dynamic Conveyor, so the three of us came in about the same time, and we all had different responsibilities within the business. I oversaw the office and the human resources side. And then my sister Jean left in 1997, and so I also took on the responsibilities of sales and engineering. And then my sister Kim left in 2002, and that's when I had full responsibility of the company.
Had you always thought about taking over the family business? If not, what was the decision point that made you decide to do so?
Well, honestly not, Dave. Growing up, I always saw the stress that it put on my dad owning a business. But I worked at a couple of different places after graduating from Muskegon Community College. I was a bookkeeper at a furniture store, and then I had a costing job at a manufacturing company in Grand Haven before I went to work as the administrative assistant at Pliant Plastics. And after a few years of that and really enjoying the variety and the different tasks and that I did, had the opportunity with my sisters to take over Dynamic Conveyor. And it was scary, but with their strengths and the three of us coming into it together, it was a pretty easy decision.
What factors did you have to weigh in making that decision?
Well, I knew there were big risks involved. I mean, and it was a scary decision, like I said. But most people aren't given an opportunity like this, you know, to own your own business. But the scary part is, what if my sisters and I took this nice little company that my dad started and, you know, drove it into the ground. But with the three of us going at it together, I knew that, you know, it was something that we needed to do, and it was very exciting.
How long was that decision process, and what were some of the important things that you had to weigh?
Well, we worked with a family business counselor, somebody that my dad had found, and we actually went away for a retreat for a few days, the entire family, including my mom and brother-in-law, who were not involved in the business, and worked through that process with him, setting up guidelines, you know, who's responsible for what, talking about things, you know, and he did a great job in getting us all to open up and communicate so that we could make this work as a family. And one thing that he taught us, or really stressed and emphasized, is the importance of keeping business and family separate, even though you are in a family business together. And it is tough, you know, the holidays, a lot of times the talk around the table is work, and it's one of those things that didn't always delight everybody at the table, but that's part of owning a family business. So,
what are some of the challenges in taking over a family business?
Well, Dave, there are challenges in everything that we all do. But mostly communication, which is a challenge, I think, in any business or any situation. You know, working with my sisters and keeping them sisters was challenging, I have to admit that. Because we're all different, we're very independent and have our own ideas. But we would go to lunch once a week together. That was kind of something that, you know, was pretty much etched in stone, and we made a point to do that, to communicate about business. Probably the easiest thing was my dad was able to let go when it was time for him to do that. You know, he stepped back and let us, you know, run the business, and you know, didn't interfere at all, which was a great gift. The nice thing too is he's always available for advice, so anytime I do want advice or need to run something by him, always available, always there for me, but never really stepped in or you know, hung around, so which was a great gift.
So Jill, when you finally decided to make that transition, did you do it on a handshake and a turkey leg at Thanksgiving, or were there legal documents involved?
No, absolutely not. There were legal documents involved. My father did the right thing. He worked with a corporate attorney, and you know, wanted to make sure that things were done fairly, you know, for his three daughters, and definitely it outlined very well. And part of that was in working with a family counselor too, and setting up those guidelines. So not only was it the guidelines, but also the legality side of it too. So
we have students and people in the community who may have an opportunity to take over a family business. What advice would you give them?
Well, I would strongly suggest that they work with somebody like we did, the family business counselor, or some kind of mentor or mediator, somebody to work through things, to set up guidelines, and get all the family members to be open and honest about their feelings of business ownership, and you know, their honesty regarding whether they really want to be involved or not. And make sure that the family members are put into positions where they can bring value to the company, not just give them a job because they're a family member. And I know that that can probably be really kind of tough, but I think it's very, very important.
As a president of a company, are there any support groups that you use to enhance your operations?
I do. I belong to a business owners roundtable that's held at the Muskegon Chamber, and we meet once a month. It's local small businesses from all different areas, and we get the opportunity to share, ask questions in a very confidential format, and that is very beneficial. We're also have a Women's Business Enterprise certification that we got about a year ago, and that aids women-owned businesses in getting contracts, government contracts, or business with large companies.
What skills or knowledge do you think it's important to have to run a business?
Well, I think you need to know your customers, your product or your service, and the market. You know, I don't know the most about conveyors here. My engineers know more about conveyors than I do, honestly, and even some of my salespeople. But you have to be able to have a vision and put a strategic plan in place, and guide your employees. And you can hire anything done that you need to have done. And that's the other thing too, is to make sure or to recognize that you don't have all the answers, and to be able to find the resources, whether they're your own employees or go out and whether it's a business owner roundtable and you bounce ideas and ask questions of other business owners, or there's a lot of different places that you can go. But just realize you don't have to have all the answers to run and operate your own business.
What advice would you have for business owners who need to have employees?
Well, I think it's obvious that the employees need to have some skills that you're looking for and the right fit, but attitude is probably number one on my list, and to find employees that you can trust. And that's what I have here. There's a lot of things, a lot of jobs in particular that I can't do, as I mentioned earlier, that I don't know as much about the conveyors as my engineers do. But I have trust and confidence that they have the answers, and if they don't, they'll go and find them. That's a huge thing. And otherwise, the business owner is going to be in their business 24/7, or before the doors open, right on through till the point that they close. And so it's very, very important to find employees, give them the freedom to make decisions and make mistakes, and make it a safe environment. My employees here do make mistakes, and that's okay, as long as they learn from them, and we all grow from it. I don't have all the answers either, so that would be the advice that I have. Find employees that you can trust.
Jill, is there any special advice you'd give female business owners?
Well, I don't think it makes a difference whether you're female or male in today's business world. I'd like to think that if I had brothers, my dad would have still given me the same opportunity as my brothers to own a manufacturing business. You need to know your product or your service, your customers, your market, and you need to hire employees that you can trust, communicate with them well, and treat them fairly, and I think you can be successful owning any business.
In summary, what advice would you have for people who have the opportunity to take over a family business?
Well, taking over and operating a family business should never be looked at as a get-rich-quick opportunity. It's stressful, it is rewarding and fun and challenging, a lot like raising children. I took over and run a successful family business. You can too.
Does starting or owning a business sound interesting to you? Learn more by contacting any Muskegon Community College counselor or department chair about available training. Remember, there are millions of people like Jill who have started or run their own business. You can too. If you have comments or suggestions for this program, email us at david.stradell@muskegoncc.edu or call us at 231-777-0304.